Hey everybody, you're watching Call the Corn Star. Good morning everybody, welcome to Corn Star Farms. Today, we are going to be playing in the mud. Oh, we're gonna get everything warmed up and then we're gonna get to work. We are currently in the middle of trying to pattern tile 2 of our fields to control our excess water problems. We already got the field straight ahead of us done, and we are now working on this one, and we got some rain last night, and we have a bunch of work to do in the dirt, so when I say we're playing in the mud, we're gonna be playing in the mud. Today we are going to be working on 3 main things. By the way, these are in no particular order, but thing number 1, we need to address this main line. Last night we were out here in the dark while it was raining and we were trying to pull in a main line, and I ended up getting the tractor stuck right here, so I had to cut my main line. So right now we have a non-capped end line sitting pointed kind of upwards. So I need to dig down, cut off the pipe that's sticking upwards, and we need to cap this. Number 2, this is an outlet hole, which allows our water to be able to dump into our outlet, which in this case is a creek. We need to dig another one of these. And then for thing number 3, every now and again when we are installing tile lines, we will hit a rock. And if you hit a rock, it can make the plow go up and down, which makes our pipe go up and down. And if it's bad enough, then water will not flow through the pipe because it has a hump in it, and then our drainage system won't work. So when we hit a rock, we end up taking chunks of dirt and then we set them on the side to mark the spot where the rock is. We have about 12 spots throughout the field right now where we have rocks marked, but they have not been dug up yet to be inspected to make sure that they still flow water through them. So for thing number 3, we're gonna go to all those marked spots and we're gonna dig down and find our pipe, and we are going to inspect to make sure that everything is flowing downhill like it's supposed to. I am going to start by digging the outlet into the creek, and the pressure is on this one because it is going to be right by the road, so hopefully I don't make any mistakes. It took about 45 minutes to dig. We dug this one into a Y pattern. This part is going to be where the pipes will go, that outlet into the creek, and actually dump the water in there. And then up here, up the Y, on the left side, this is where the main line is going to start. That will pick up all of these lateral lines, and then there's going to be a main that runs right through here, through this grass area. And so that will come in through here. And then on the other side of the Y, we are going to have the exact same thing, except this main is going to run right along here. There are actually just going to be 4 lines of our field that will tie into this main, and then this one will go right over there to that fence line. So then if the neighbor in the future ever wants to tile their field, then they can just tie right into the end of the tile, and then the outlet is already built in. Next up, this is where I got the tractor stuck last night. I need to dig down with a mini excavator, find the pipe, and I need to cut it and put an end cap on, and I might dig up a little pipe too that doesn't need to be sitting underground doing nothing. So I just got done digging up the main line. That is our green pipe down here. And when I got the tractor stuck, I had to stop. And I tilted the plow up out of the ground. So that's what we got going on here with our pipe. And there is currently nothing in the end of the pipe for a cap, so soil can just get inside of there. So what we're gonna end up doing is actually going down the line, and we're gonna cut the pipe all the way up here because everything behind us is completely unnecessary. So I'm gonna dig this out a little bit, I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna put a cap in here. And then I ended up separating out my dirt as I was digging. So once we get this line pulled up out of here and thrown up over the side, we'll push the clay stuff in on the bottom, and then we have the nice black stuff. We'll push that on top, and then this will be done. I just experienced something super cool. So right now this pipe runs all the underground. It's about 4 feet underground, and air temperature right now is like 40. Ground temperature is probably in the low 50s. And so this is technically geothermal right now. When I stick my hand in here, literally 10 degrees warmer than out here. That's super cool. And from a smell perspective, definitely smells kind of funny. Oh, yeah, buddy. There it is. We got the excess pipe pulled out, and then we got the main line cut, and we got an end cap put in, so this is now ready to be backfilled. We got the pipe all covered up. We are now going to go dig up some rock spots. I think we just got to our first rock spot. Have a little dirt pile right here signifying there's a rock. So we're gonna dig probably about a 10-foot area here and see what we can find. Check this out. This is our rock, and if you look at that dark line of dirt right there, that is where our tile is located. And so we would have pulled the tile plow through here, and I'm assuming the tile plow went under it and it flipped this rock up, and then once we got past it, it flipped it back down. I'm still gonna dig it out to make sure that our line is good, but I did not picture us finding anything like this, and that's a really good sized rock. I just got the rock out and I have not exposed my pipe yet, so I don't know what that looks like, but look at this rock. That is a 36-inch bucket, and we somehow hooked right underneath of that thing. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is right where the rock was. Wow. Perfectly intact. We are good to go. Yes, that is what we like to see. Actually, it's a good thing I did a little bit more digging. So right here, -6% slope. Right here, -2%. And then this is right where the rock was. And oh, look at that. We are 6% the other way. Then we go past where the rock was, and then it goes downhill again. So I need to get a shovel in here and dig this down a little bit, so that way we can get that pipe to drop. Oh, look at that. We got another one. On our farm, about 95% of our soils don't have rocks in them, but we do have about 100 acres that has a glacial till layer down beneath. So all of the rocks that we are finding right now in this field are in that nice little glacial till layer, and the hole that I'm standing in is actually a really good example of what this glacial till looks like. The spot that we are digging in is an area where the glacial till is closer to the surface. I'm assuming that's why we found that giant boulder over here. But if we look at the top layer, this is our nice black soil. And then as we work down a little bit, we basically jump straight to glacial till right here. Usually there is a second horizon in between. Usually you have about a foot of black, and then you have a foot of the second horizon, and then you have the glacial till in the glacial till areas. But this is what it looks like. It's just a bunch of these little rocks. It's like a sandy kind of clay. I don't know what they classify this actually. I would say it's more sandy than anything. And then down here you just have varying types of rocks, little rocks. Some rocks are sharp. This guy's a sharp guy. And then you have the occasional big boulder. I ended up running well into the night last night, and I think I got 7 or 8 rocks dug out. And before we get started going back out again this morning, which I think we're gonna start digging some start holes with this instead of digging up rocks, we're gonna do a quick service. We are well overdue on an oil change, and then we are also going to change all the hydraulic filters and flush the hydraulic system as well. So right here on the back of the machine, this is the engine oil filter. So we just put a new one of those on. And then over here on the side of the machine, this big filter is a hydraulic filter. And then at the front of the machine, Right there is the other hydraulic filter, and then where Cooper has his wrenches right now, that is the drain for the hydraulic system. Remember, Dad, only 300 foot-pounds of torque on that.
I think I got 325.
By the way, pro tip, if you're changing oil on things consistently and you're tired of walking back and forth to find out what socket or wrench you need, if you know what one, just take a marker and write somewhere on your engine bay, so then you know. So right here we know if you're using a metric, we need a 22, we need a 7/8 if we're in a standard, and this takes 8 quarts of engine oil. As easy as it is to just leave the oil containers on the shop floor and get back to work, that's how you make a huge mess. So we're just going to dump these into the strainer right away, so then it's done. Today is one of those days where it is rather wet and cold and not very comfortable out here. So I'd say it's a proper tiling day. Gotta check the oil. Ooh, yep, she's good. I just got lined up to main number 1. It goes right along the edge of this waterway, and then it butts up into the neighbors at the top of the hill. I've already pre-ripped this to loosen the soil, but we just moved our base station up to the top of that hill, and so it's doing its thing right now. It's reconfiguring with all the satellites to get its location, and then that triangulates over to me. So I'm currently sitting here waiting for this to turn green. Then once this turns green, then we are going to resurvey this line, then we'll back down to right where we are, and then we have our main line right beside us, all ready to be thrown into the boot. And then we'll pull this one, and then the next one we are going to do is right here, and it runs right along our outlet. Hey, 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 we just got green satellites. We're ready to survey. By the way, surveying is just a fancy way of saying I'm going to drive the line where we are going to install our tile, and then the little GPS globe up on top of the tile plow talks to the satellites, and it records all of the elevations, and then that talks to the little computer on the tile plow that does all the pitch adjustment to ensure that our pipe underground has a slope that allows water to be able to flow down to our outlet. For this main, we're going to be running a 44-inch minimum, 56-inch maximum, and we're going to be shooting for 48. And then this chart up here is not giving us any red codes right here in the middle, so that means our slope works. We can now hit this button. We have it named. We're putting it in 8-inch main. Check mark. Okay. We are now ready to get our tile pulled in, and then we're going to start pulling. Oh, try not to slip and fall here in the mud. All right, Zach, you're good. Now, where is the start of this roll? Oh, this one's all the way at the top. Okay, well, I'm not that tall. So, hopefully we have a probe in here. Oh, I feel like this is the equivalent of standing on a rolling chair. Ah! Ow! We're sitting still. Why are you unraveling like this? Oh, stop! Stop! Oh, sometimes tile makes you angry. If this stuff was easy to move around, this wouldn't be so annoying. But it's not easy to move around. No, you don't unwind more. We should now be ready to pull. As long as we don't lose traction, this run should go pretty smooth. It is a little bit greasy on top, and we've never really pulled in greasy-like conditions, so this is gonna be a bit of a new experience. But if I had to guess, I think we'll be okay. Okay, here we go. We're on our survey. Float on, feeder on, start. We're in first gear. Here we go. You can do it. Come on, we're just gonna get through this grass area. That's gonna be the hardest. Okay. Should be out of the grass now. This should pull a little easier through here. That run was a close one. I was about 2 seconds away from pushing in the clutch and going to get a pull vehicle to help assist the tractor. But fortunately for us, right here at the bottom, we had a little grass strip. Whenever you're going through grass with the tile plow, it pulls about 20% harder because all of the grass roots. And then there was also a little spot right through there that had a harder soil underneath. And then once we got out of that and got up into this, it actually pulled pretty good up here. And I pre-ripped this run earlier to loosen up the soil and to find rocks. And somehow we found like 4 rocks that we didn't find with the pre-rip. So we're gonna be digging up 4 more rocks with the Mini. We're now gonna hit another survey run, and then we have 2 more lines of tile that we need to pull. What's on that cart and what's on the cart ahead of us should be everything that we need to finish out for mains. For this next run that we are going to be doing, it is basically flat, where the last run that we just did was like a 3.5% slope. So this should help a lot with our traction. We should also be in some really nice dark dirt right here. It should be soft, so that should also help. What I'm doing right now is a pre-rip pass, so I actually have the plow down into the ground. I have it a foot higher than what we are actually going to be tiling at, and the sole purpose of this is just to break up the ground ahead of time to make it easier for us to be able to pull in the main, especially in conditions like what we're in right now, where traction is probably going to be the limiting factor. This first run that we're pulling is a little bit goofy. Up where we have those dirt piles, we have a natural gas pipeline. There's actually 2 of them, and they run across the field going up the hill. And so when we get up to those piles, we can't pull through there, so we're gonna have a little short jaunt from where I'm at to those piles, and then we will take the plow to the ground, we'll go past the pipelines, and then we'll start on the other side of those piles, and then we'll work our way all the way up to there. All right, we just got the thumbs up from Zach, so we are all ready to go. Cooper's holding the pipe down in the hole. Float is on. We don't need the feeder. We hit start. We are in first gear. We're gonna rev up to 1200 RPMs. Without the clutch, nice and slowly. There we go. A little bit of a rough start. I've had worse. All right, we're going right into a curve on this one. Whenever we're turning, the tile plow always pulls harder than going straight. But so far, so good. By the way, every foot that we pull ourselves is $1 per foot saved in installation. So we've already pulled 94 feet. We've saved 94 bucks on this pull already. We're getting closer to the pipelines. Cooper and Zach are basically standing right over the top of them. We are really not slipping at all, and this one seems to be pulling in pretty smooth. Any guesses on where we hit rocks? Any guesses at all? Any? And just like that, there is our last main for this field pull. We're going to be switching things up a little bit now, and instead of digging some more start holes and starting to pull some lateral lines, we have several outlets where we have the outlet hole dug into the creek, but we don't have the actual pipe hooked up. And since we have 3 people right now, they go a lot faster with 3 people. So we have like 8 outlets that we're going to try to get hooked up before it gets dark, and we have like 2 hours. So it's going to be a little bit of a race. We have one outlet done with the outlet pipes in, and we are now working on the second one. On these first two, we kind of ran into a little issue with when we dug our outlet. We dug the part that's right next to the creek too high, and then it slopes down that way to where we actually started pulling the pipe. So when we have a trench this big, you can't get in here with the excavator, so you have to dig everything out with a shovel, and we're getting in that nice, heavy, sticky dirt, so it makes it not very fun to shovel. This particular outlet's gonna be like the last one, where it has two outlet pipes in the same trench. We got the one on the right dug. There is one dug under this pipe on the left, but we just noticed up here, our pipe kind of dives down and we have slope that goes that way. So we need to dig the pipe back a little bit and then find where our slope starts to go the opposite way, go to where it's level, and then we'll need to dig under that pipe to get it to be able to be at least 0 degrees, and then we'll probably have to dig that side as well. Oh, look at this. It's that time of the year. We can officially see our breath. Once we get everything pushed back in, this is our final product. We now have 2 outlets that are going into the creek. So when these start running water, we'll just dump it right down in the creek water, and then the creek will just take everything away. Since it's now dark and it's kind of hard to see what we're doing, we are going to call it a day here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.